So I'd like to start today's video with a story about my mom. My mom, God bless her, she's in spirit world, but she was such a great teacher for me. And one of the things she taught me at a very young age, and it's probably why I love to journal, is she used to say to me, if I came home from school with an upset, or, I ran in the house and I said, yes, so-and-so slapped me. My mother always said, well, what did you do? And I hated that. What kid wants to hear that? I was 8 and 10 and 12, and no matter what was going on, anytime that I complained to my mother, she would say to me, well, what did you do? What? That girl just came up to you and slapped you for no reason, or that girl just came up to you and yelled at you for no reason. Maybe you should think about what you did, what you were thinking. Oh my goodness. And as I got older and I began to, get involved in different spiritual practices, I felt such a deep gratitude toward my mother, because she was actually teaching me about the process of mirroring, that the world just doesn't show up in a certain way. She was really making me responsible for what was, how I was feeling, what I was thinking. She was really having me stop and take a look at my role, at what I was doing, what I was thinking, what I was saying, to get the results that I was getting. So, to my sweet mother. So I think that led me down the road to always look at my part. I wasn't always willing to own my part. Sometimes that takes a little bit of humility. In fact, it takes a lot of humility to own your part. But through the years, I got better at it, and I like to use this practice now 24/7. It's like, if that's showing up and I'm not happy, let me take a look at the thoughts I was holding in my mind, or something's going on inside of me, that I got the results I got. And I love that, because I really feel like I'm not a victim of life. Whenever you feel like you're a victim of life, it's because you're in the blame game. And I don't want to blame anyone. I want to be responsible for what I'm getting, at least for the thoughts in my mind, which leads me to chapter 21 in the Course in Miracles, Reason and Perception. Let me just read a little bit here, and it'll help you see that the world you see is a reflection of the thoughts you're holding in your mind. So it says here, projection makes perception. So what I'm projecting out from my mind, my stinking thinking, it's going to be reflected back to me, and I'm responsible. The world you see is what you gave it. Nothing more than that. That's why we always see, all of us, each of us see different worlds, because we're all holding different thoughts in our mind. If our thoughts are aligned with love, of course we see joy and beauty and loveliness. We see a different world from thoughts of fear and attack and defense, unforgiveness. Then we see a really nasty world, because we're holding on to nasty thoughts, stinking thinking. Therefore, to you it is important. It is the witness to your state of mind. Love or fear, the world is going to reflect my state of mind. The outside picture of an inward condition. As a man thinketh, so does he perceive. And there's lines throughout the Course in Miracles where Jesus says, you may know you're responsible for what you do, but you don't think you're responsible for what you think. And actually, you are really responsible for what you think. We need to get a hold of those thoughts, because they create form on some level. So then it goes on here to say, therefore, seek not to change the world. We get mad at people. We want to change that person, that man, that woman, that child. We want to change the world. But we are being told here, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. Perception is a result. You are living in the results of what you think. You're swimming in an ocean of your thoughts projected. And that is why order of difficulty in miracles is meaningless. Everything looked upon with vision is healed and holy. So when I see things from a higher perspective, when I see the treasure, the gift, let me look at this differently. Then it's healed and holy. Nothing perceived without it means a thing. Nothing perceived without vision means anything. And where there is no meaning, there is chaos. Damnation is your judgment on yourself. And this you will project upon the world. And really, there are no people. There's just thoughts. So what you do to others, you've already done to you. What I do to you, I've already done to me. See it as damned, and all you see is what you did to hurt the Son of God. If you behold disaster and catastrophe, you tried to crucify him. Oh my God. So, never look at someone's defects. Don't look at them with damnation. You're only looking at yourself. So if you behold anyone with disaster and catastrophe, then you are standing for the crucifixion. But if you see holiness and hope, you join the will of God to set him free. And who are you setting free? Yourself. There is no choice that lies between these two decisions. No choice. You see him as with the mind of the resurrection, or you see him with crucifying thoughts. Those are the only two choices. And you will see the witness to the choice you made and learn from this to recognize which one you chose. The world you see but shows you how much joy you have allowed yourself to see in you. Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, do you know how many opportunities you have to be joyous? Every second you have an opportunity to be joyous. And we refuse joy. Why do we do that? Because there are so many barriers to the presence of love. And that's what journaling can help you undo. A thought system that is based on the belief in separation. You can never be separate from God. That's the good news. You can never, ever, ever be separate from that, from the glory that created you in its own image and likeness. So the world you see but shows you how much joy you have allowed yourself to see in you and to accept as yours. I accept that I am the embodiment of joy. And if this is its meaning, then the power to give it joy must lie within you. This is making us 100% responsible for the results that we are getting. If I think with fear and disaster, then I am going to swim in an ocean of doo-doo. It's not going to be good. And if I put love in my mind and forgiveness in my mind, then I am going to swim in an ocean of bliss. What do you want? Right? And that is why I love journaling. Journaling it's really a spiritual practice. And if you sit down at the end of your day with an intention of emptying your mind, seeing, your behaviors and the choices to think the way you thought throughout the day, you're going to build the muscle. You're going to build a muscle of forgiveness, and you're going to automatically, the fear-based thoughts will always come into our mind because this is duality. So you're always going to have this voice attacking you. But you will have developed such an awareness of these attack thoughts that you will automatically choose love. And that's going to set you free. So I put this book together. It's actually a journal, Anchoring the Light. And I put the Eye of Horus here. This is an Egyptian symbol. It represents the all-seeing eye. So I always say, when you start your journaling practice, get yourself a beautiful book. Make it sacred. You can even light a candle. Make it a sacred spiritual practice. So get a really nice book And I recommend I put an opening prayer here and I put a closing prayer. And then I have here a step-by-step how to journal one day at a time. So let me just go through a few things for you that can, expand your mind as to how to journal for the purpose of healing the mind. So number one is review your day and reflect on all the experiences that triggered you. Just look at everything that activated you throughout the day. You felt angry at this, upset about that. Just look at the triggers. And once you do that, just allow the feelings and emotions that you experience to come to the surface, because we want to put everything in the light. If you don't put it in the light, you push it down out of your awareness and it's not dead. It's energy that's going to find a leak somewhere, maybe tomorrow or next week, but it's alive. The energy's still there. So allow the emotions and feelings to surface. Let them come up into the light to be released. But be very honest about your feelings and emotions. Don't hide anything. Do this practice. Start your prayer with the Holy Spirit. Invite the Spirit in, because you are doing your journaling with the Spirit for the purpose of healing your mind of stinking thinking. Then tell yourself, if I'm feeling upset by what's happening, then I must be holding guilt in my consciousness. Guilt, the ultimate guilt, is when you separate from love, guilt sets in. When you believe that you're separate from God, you automatically feel guilty. But that guilt gets fragmented, and that's what we project onto others. So just tell yourself, well, by the law of attraction, I'm drawing the unhealed aspects of myself to myself, so that I can forgive that. Everything I'm drawing to me for the purpose of forgiveness. That's what guilt does. We project guilt, and then it gets mirrored back to us for the purpose of forgiveness. Okay, so remember, in truth, that there are no people. There's only unloving thoughts projected, and the world is going to animate those unloving thoughts. They're going to reflect those unloving thoughts back to me. Then you're going to say, well, what is my contribution to the situation that I now find myself in? What was my mood? Did I walk into the room in a nasty mood? Was I holding attack thoughts? Was I in judgment? What is my contribution? What is going on in my mind that I would be swimming in these negative results? Then you can say to yourself, well, I'm not responsible for what shows up, but I am responsible for how I respond to what's happening. That's like no victims. When you take 100% responsibility for absolutely everything, that's freedom, because there are no victims when you're responsible. So you can ask yourself questions like, have I ever said or done to another what is being done to me now? This is the question that you would ask yourself while you're doing your journaling practice. Have I ever judged another person for doing this? What am I feeling as a result of what happened? Did I fail to set a boundary? What is this showing me about my thoughts and beliefs? Am I the negative one that this could be happening? Remember, you are always living in the results of what you think and believe about yourself. I learned that from my mom when I was a kid. And always keep in mind the law of attraction. Negativity draws negativity. Love attracts love. You can tell yourself, my reality is a reflection of my mind. The drama I react to is coming from the conflict in my mind. The universe is my feedback and will continue to mirror the parts of me that I have yet to love and forgive. So get yourself a nice journal. Get yourself a nice pen and a candle. You can light some incense. Turn this journaling process into a spiritual practice, a very sacred spiritual practice. And you know what? I'm going to challenge you to do this practice with sincerity in your heart for the healing of your mind. Do this practice for 30 days. I mean, hopefully you continue this practice throughout your life, but take a 30-day challenge of journaling every single day. At the end of your day, reflect on your day and go through these steps. Now, if you want a PDF download of how to journal for the purpose of healing your mind, go to my website. It's anchoringthelight.org. And you can, I think Jamie said there's a pop-up or something. Anyway, just go to the website and you'll see how to journal. And you can download the PDF and it will give you a step-by-step how to journal for the purpose of healing the mind so that you can live in a state of joy and peace. I mean, come on, we've got to remove the barriers to the presence of what's already in us. It's already there. All we need to do is remember who we are. But in order to do that, we've got to remove the barriers to the presence of love. So take the challenge. Just do it for 30 days. And I guarantee you, I've had people over the last few months that I've said to them, look, if you don't journal, give it a try and report back to me in 30 days and tell me how you feel. And they're telling me things like, oh my God, I had no idea that I was that negative. Oh my God, I had no idea that I was that mean or rude, or I had no idea that I was so loving. I mean, people gave me gifts. I got gifts out of the blue, and I was in a restaurant and someone paid for my food. And this too is all reflections, that the universe mirroring back to you what it is you're holding in your mind. So, thank you everyone for sharing with me, those of you that are doing the journaling with the intention, the real intention to heal your mind. Thank you for sharing with me all these miracles that you are experiencing and all the discoveries that you're making about your own thought processes. So again, take the 30-day challenge, get yourself a journal, go to Typo. For those of you that are in KL, they have some really awesome journals. Get a really nice journal and start right away. Journal for the purpose of healing your mind so that you can live a joyful, vital, and creative life. So with that, I just have to tell you that I love you. You know that I do. And I'll be back again in a few days with some more tips. Bye for now.